If people never did silly things, nothing intelligent would ever get done. We are asleep. Our life is a dream, but we wake up sometimes just enough to know that we are dreaming. The world of the happy is quite different from that of the unhappy. To believe in a God means to understand the question about the meaning of life. If in life we are surrounded by death, then in the health of our intellect we are surrounded by madness. A serious and good philosophical work could be written consisting entirely of jokes. The limits of my language means the limits of my world. I don't know why we are here, but I'm pretty sure that it is not in order to enjoy ourselves. Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent. The real question of life after death isn't whether or not it exists, but even if it does, what problem this really solves. If we take eternity to mean not infinite temporal duration, but timelessness, then eternal life belongs to those who live in the present. Don't, for heaven's sake, be afraid of talking nonsense, but you must pay attention to your nonsense. Never stay up on the barren heights of cleverness, but come down into the green valleys of silliness. Philosophy is a battle against the bewitchment of our intelligence by means of language. I act with complete certainty, but this certainty is my own. We feel that even if all possible scientific questions be answered, the problems of life have still not been touched at all. To imagine a language is to imagine a form of life. What is troubling us is the tendency to believe that the mind is like a little man within. For an answer which cannot be expressed, the question too cannot be expressed. The riddle does not exist. If a question can be put at all, then it can also be answered. If there were a verb meaning to believe falsely, it would not have any significant first person present indicative. Sometimes, in doing philosophy, one just wants to utter an inarticulate sound. Logic takes care of itself. All we have to do is to look and see how it does it. When you are philosophizing, you have to descend into primeval chaos and feel at home there. One often makes a remark, and only later sees how true it is. If you tried to doubt everything, you would not get as far as doubting anything. The game of doubting itself presupposes certainty. A picture held us captive, and we could not get outside it, for it lay in our language, and language seemed to repeat it to us inexorably. You can't think decently if you're not willing to hurt yourself. I give no sources because it is indifferent to me whether what I have thought has already been thought before me by another. This sort of thing has got to be stopped. Bad philosophers are like slum landlords. It's my job to put them out of business. Everything that can be thought at all can be thought clearly. Everything that can be said clearly. Knowledge is in the end based on acknowledgement. Language is a part of our organism and no less complicated than it. It's impossible for me to say one word about all that music has meant to me in my life. How then can I hope to be understood? I think I summed up my attitude to philosophy when I said, philosophy ought really to be written only as a poetic composition. The human body is the best picture of the human soul. Our life is endless in the way that our visual field is without limit. Just improve yourself. That is the only thing you can do to better the world. In the world, everything is as it is and happens as it does happen. In it, there is no value, and if there were, it would be of no value. Nothing is more important for teaching us to understand the concepts we have than to construct fictitious ones. People nowadays think that scientists exist to instruct them, poets, musicians, etc., to give them pleasure. The idea that these have something to teach them, that does not occur to them. The primary question about life after death is not whether it is a fact, but even if it is, what problems that really solves. I should not like my writing to spare other people the trouble of thinking, but, if possible, to stimulate someone to thoughts of his own. In art, it is hard to say anything as good as saying nothing. Resting on your laurels is as dangerous as resting when you are walking in the snow. you doze off and die in your sleep. Perhaps what is inexpressible, what I find mysterious and am not able to express, is the background against which whatever I could express has its meaning. You must always be puzzled by mental illness. The thing I would dread most, if I became mentally ill, would be your adopting a common sense attitude, that you could take it for granted that I was deluded. The aspect of things that are most important to us are hidden because of their familiarity and simplicity. It is so characteristic that just when the mechanics of reproduction are so vastly improved, there are fewer and fewer people who know how music should be played. Language is a labyrinth of paths. You approach from one side and know your way about. You approach the same place from another side and no longer know your way about. For example, you were to think more deeply about death, then it would be truly strange if, in doing so, you did not encounter new images, new linguistic fields. Philosophy, as we use the word, is a fight against the fascination which forms of expression exert upon us. What stands fast does so, not because it is intrinsically obvious or convincing. It is rather held fast by what lies around it. Concerning that which cannot be talked about, we should not say anything. Christianity is not a doctrine, not, a theory about what has happened and will happen to the human soul, but a description of something that actually takes place in human life. Uttering a word is like striking a note on the keyboard of the imagination. A man will be imprisoned in a room with a door that's unlocked and opens inwards, as long as it does not occur to him to pull rather than push. The problems are solved not by giving new information, but by arranging what we have known since long. What is confusing for us is the tendency to believe that the mind is like a little man within. To convince someone of the truth, it is not enough to state it, but rather one must find the path from error to truth. There is no more light in a genius than in any other honest man, but he has a particular kind of lens to concentrate this light into a burning point. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.